Vampires. After my parents' divorce, my mom had several gentlemen callers, and I hated all of them. There was Wallace, the freakishly tall man who I thought would crush me if I crossed him. There was Steve, who didn't like cartoons and changed the channel a lot. There was Kenneth, who liked Sabrina the Teenage Witch and looked a lot like Steve. Then there was Herb. Herb was a professor at the University of Houston. A Jungian scholar. He would take my mother and I out to orchestra concerts, which I found totally boring. I was like 6 years old, sitting on the hill of the Woodlands Pavilion and asking my mom, when would we go home? Herb would tell me to be patient and close my eyes and tell him what I saw. I can't see anything, my eyes are closed. Herb told me to use my mind's eye. What is that? Mom, I'm hungry. Can I have a DiGiorno's? Herb tried to form me into a precocious academic who laughed at things like PBS and ate pate and wore scarves. Thankfully, Herb and my mom broke up, and I was allowed to laugh at dick and fart jokes and eat nachos again. For about a year, it was just me and my mom, and I would see my dad every other weekend. I look back on that time in my life and I feel bad for my dad. All he wanted was to see his son, and I was too young to really know what was going on or to care. If I could go back to that time and relive my childhood, I'd definitely spend more time with my father, who lived right down the road. Then, one Saturday morning, my mom woke me up and told me to grab my bathing suit. We were going to Splash Town for the day, and we were going to hang out with a new friend of hers and then have a sleepover at his place. I was promised that he had 3 kids around my age. I'd never been to a water park, so I was really excited. I normally wasn't allowed into pools because I'm missing an eardrum, but I had these slick new custom-made earplugs, and I was itching to show them off. When we arrived at Splash Town, I met my mom's new friend, Darby. He was a handsome man who was really nice to my mom and to me, and he was funny too. I felt really comfortable hanging out with this guy. His 3 kids, however, were the worst people I'd ever met. There was the eldest, Darby. There's Big Darby and Little Darby. The middle child, Nathan, and the youngest, a girl named Megan. They were like a little club that wasn't accepting any new members, and if you even asked, you got made fun of. After Splash Town, we all went to Hastings to rent a movie and to be watched at Big Darby's house. I wanted to watch an Ernest movie, but Darby's kids wanted to watch Caddyshack too. I'll interrupt this story to apologize for my behavior in the Hastings. I was young, and it was the first experience that I can remember of losing my only child privileges. Once I realized that I wasn't going to get to watch the movie I wanted, I freaked out a little bit. Okay, a lot. I threw VHS tapes around, I yelled, I cried, and when we finally went home to watch the movie, I sat in the other room out of spite. It was the loneliest 98 minutes of my life. The movie ended, and my rebellion ended when I heard, "Connor, pizza!" Like a bat out of hell, I ran to the kitchen. Oh boy, Papa John's! I sat at a table with little Darby, Nathan, and Megan, while my mom and Big Darby sat on the couch. As we were eating, little Darby looked at me and said, "Did you know that we're vampires?" I stopped eating my pizza. I wasn't quite sure that I'd heard him right. I asked him to repeat himself, and he did. "Yeah. We've been vampires since we were born," said Nathan. I was a little uneasy. I'd never met vampires before. Wait! We were out in the sun all day. You aren't vampires, I told him. I'd read a lot of Encyclopedia Brown, so I wasn't easily fooled. Duh, We were wearing sunscreen, remember? Damn, real-life vampires. Right in front of my face. Megan finally chimed in. Yeah, at night we have to feed, but your mom is too old. Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. I was staying the night at this house. I needed to let my mom know that she'd been charmed by a daddy Dracula and we were both about to be murdered. I tried to get my mom alone so that we could devise a plan to get out of here, but she must have been mad at me still because of my tantrum at the Hastings because she wouldn't believe me and just laughed. I was going to have to do this all by myself. I didn't know much about vampires beyond what I'd learned from the Groovy Ghoulies. I didn't have a cross on me, but I did know where I could get some garlic. After all, the pizza had come from Papa John's. I grabbed the garlic dipping sauce cup that came to the pizza and I drank the whole thing. I got yelled at for chugging it, and while no one really liked the dipping sauce, it was a principle of the thing and I should have been asked, and yeah, blah, 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 blah. I didn't have time for social etiquette when my very humanity was on the line. I lied about brushing my teeth, and I went to bed with my gnarly garlic breath. And I slept comfortably knowing that those vampires weren't going to turn me into one of their own kind. It was too late for my mother, but casualties happen. She would be mourned, and I would live in the woods behind my house and go to school when I felt like it. I woke up the next morning and felt the repercussions of chugging a cup of garlic sauce. My mom seemed fine, though. I went to the breakfast table and sat with little Darby, Nathan, and Megan. I nervously asked these nascent Nosferatus about their nightly vampiric activities. Little Darby looked up at me and said, "We were lying, you idiot." Epilogue. My mom and Big Darby ended up getting married after 6 months of dating and are still married to this day. Little Darby, Nathan, and Megan all became my siblings, and I rarely, if ever, call them step-siblings. I consider us all to be the closest thing to blood relatives as you can get, and they were the most influential people in my life. I looked up to little Darby, and I'd sneak into his room to read his books and listen to his CDs. Megan, unfortunately, moved in with her mom in California, but I still remember fondly when she would visit, and she and Nathan and I would play at Lake Conroe. Nathan and I shared a room for nearly a decade, and I consider him one of my best friends. I mean, I love Darby and Megan as well, but there's something special about a roommate relationship. But that doesn't mean that I didn't sleep with a wooden stake under my pillow.